podcast hosted by me, Jahenns Manigat, aka Canadian Red Bull 12, if you know me really, really well. Don't forget to like and follow the Field of 68 Media Network, and don't forget to subscribe to stay in touch with myself doing the Welcome to the J podcast and all of our various hosts representing the alma maters. Today, we have a very, very special guest. Right after the Jays make the Sweet 16, we have our 16th guest on the podcast. He averaged 22 and 10 as a senior for Falls High School. He played his JUCO career at Jacksonville JUCO, where he was honorable All-American as a sophomore and led his team in scoring, steals, and block shots. He averaged 17.4 points and 6 rebounds that year. In 2 years with the Jays, he scored a total of 418 points. He also recorded 44 blocks and 37 steals. He is the pride of H-Town. He's always sitting sideways from the great state of Texas. Darryl Ashford, D. Ash is in the building. Welcome to the J, bro.
Hey, I love the intro, man.
Man, you know I have to do it to him one time. How you been living, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Blessed, man.
Yeah, bro. I've been waiting to get you on this podcast. We're gonna have so much fun today. Like, I'm already tearing up thinking about some of the stuff that we might have to address. For those of you guys that don't know, Darryl was my senior, my freshman year. So we go way back. We have so many stories. Man,
Didn't I host you on your visit?
I'm gonna get into all of it. When Justin Carter was on the podcast, we talked about it a little bit too, because the combination of you two, you were my main host. He was just kind of like coming along for the ride. But the combination of you two had me commit at a random house out west during my visit. So we'll get into all that for sure. But first, obviously, we got to talk about it. The Jays finally make it to the Sweet 16 after years and years and years and years and years and years of the fan base wanting that. We are finally able to push through, beating UC Santa Barbara the first game in the round of 68, and then in the round of 32, defeating the Ohio Bobcats pretty handily. I know you had a chance to watch the Jays this weekend. That first game against Santa Barbara,
yeah, man,
a little iffy. What was going through your mind as you saw the game winding down?
I mean, you know how it is this time of year in the tournament, man. Anything can happen. So I'm just hoping that they will pull it through, man. But they had me sweating over here, you know.
Yeah. Sweating buckets. I had a rum and coke in my hand. I was like almost like spilling that.
I'm like, come on, man, y'all can't go out this early.
Right.
But you know, they pulled it through, and you know that win against Ohio State. I was sweating that game too, but I mean, they early in the game, and then they ended up stretching it a little bit, and they looked real good that game actually.
Yeah, especially defensively. What I was pretty impressed about was they played two, pretty dominant point guards who like to run the show and get their own offense going and also set up everybody else. They were able to really concentrate on those guys. Not introduced, but they used the Jimmer defense that Coach Mack first introduced to our group of guys, and it worked really well. Both centers, Bishop and Kalkbrenner, were able to really hold their own on the defensive side, hedging hard, maintaining the guard, making sure that they give up the ball and then spinning back inside to challenge shots at the rim. Christian Bishop was very impressive. I think his averages right now in the tournament are 13 points, 13 rebounds. As a big guy, when you're defending, if you and I both play the guard spot, when you're defending and you got a guy like G behind you who can not only clean up the glass but also swat shots away, how much confidence does that give you as a defender?
I mean, you like you said, we had guys like Kenny and Greg behind us that was gonna go and get some stuff, and you can kind of gamble a little bit and kind of play a little bit more aggressive. Not to you ain't got to worry about if I get beat, man. It's probably gonna be a layup or a wide open shot. You can play a little bit more aggressive. And I can't remember these kids' name. What's the big guy number 13? What's his name?
Christian Bishop.
I like him, man. He was dunking everything. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Bouncy.
Okay, fella. I like it. The one live he caught, I was like, yo.
Yeah. No, he was very impressive. And I've talked about it throughout the year too. The combination of him and Zagorowski as the 1-2 punch come off a ball screen. Obviously, Creighton, we're known for having shooters all over the floor. So it makes that combination even that much more potent, that much more dangerous when Zagorowski is going downhill, Bishop is rolling hard, and he could just kind of high point and go get it wherever Zagorowski throws it. So that combination was impressive as hell, and we got to see it during those two games. But
Yeah,
like
man.
you said you were sweating during that Santa Barbara game, bro. I'm telling you, I was like, there's no way we're losing this very first one.
I was like, nah, man. I had them going pretty far in my. We at least going to the Final Four in my bracket. But I'm like, come on, man, y'all.
I'll pull up my
we
bracket
going all
right
the way,
now.
yours.
You already know what it is. And that's an unbiased opinion too. We just going all the way. That's what it
All
is.
the way.
Let's get into it, man. Gonzaga is the next game that we have. So the Jays, a fifth seed, is going to be playing the overall number one seed Gonzaga. They've been undefeated all season long. They got a really good group of guys, led in scoring by Kispert at 19 a game, Timmy at 18.8 a game, Suggs at 14.1 a game, Ayayi at 11.9, and they got three other guys averaging 4+ points. So a very solid group of guys. They go about 8 deep, which if you watch, Creighton play, that's about the amount of players that we put on a regular basis too. So in my opinion, it's going to be kind of like a top 8 of one team versus the top 8 of the other. It's going to be a very tough matchup. I know that you watched at least, if not whole games of Gonzaga, but some highlights. What has impressed you about that team so far this year?
I really like the Suggs kid. And like you said, they're about 8 guys in their rotation. They're just, as a team, they're real solid, man. They do everything real good to me. And like I said, I really like the Suggs. I feel like he's gonna be a lottery pick in the draft. He's really good to me. I feel like if you can, I can't. What's the other big guy name? I can't think of it. The one with the mustache.
Kispert. Oh, Timmy. Yeah, with the handlebar. Yeah, he dropped 30 the other day too.
He's cool. So I like him too. But I really think the engine is the Suggs kid. If you can kind of control him and limit him to what he can get, I think we have a good chance, man. I really do. And I'm not really just saying just because.
Yeah. I really like this matchup, and I'll tell you why. Coach Few and Coach McDermott, two of the best offensive mind in college basketball. I think if you kind of round up the top 5 offensive-minded coaches, those two's name are definitely going to be brought up in that conversation. So for me, that's one of the, obviously the players on the court, but the adjustments that the coaches are going to be doing, obviously they're going to go into the game with a game plan. They're going to have to make adjustments, I'm assuming, as the game winds on. So I would say head-to-head, as far as coaching and offensive-minded coaches are concerned, which one would you rather have calling your plays for you, Darryl Ashford?
I'm gonna rock with Mac, man. Come on. Come on. I'm gonna rock with him. Offensively, man, he's a mastermind, man. He knows what he's doing. I'm pretty sure right now they chopping up film, looking at stuff, saying you already know that he's gonna come ready, man.
Yeah. I love trying to put you on the spot. I'm gonna try as the conversation goes on to see your loyalty to the boys. So far, you're 2-0. So,
well, man, I'm gonna rock with him all the way till the wheels fall off.
Another key moment, for me at least, from watching both teams. The Jays, I've watched them all year long. Gonzaga, not so much, but obviously they have some marquee matchups throughout the year. And then obviously in the tournament, you get to watch those games as well. I think controlling the glass is going to be insurmountable for either team that wants to come out with a victory. Christian Bishop, like I mentioned earlier, is averaging 13 rebounds during the stretch of 2 games in March Madness. But I think, gang rebounding, gang boxing out, and, doing all of that as a team is really going to bode well for the Jays. Do you think the Jays will be able to limit Gonzaga's 3-point shooting in this matchup?
I think they will. If they don't limit, I feel like we can shoot it. We can shoot it with them just as well. My biggest thing I feel like it'll be is rebounding, because they have a little bit more size on us. That's my biggest thing. Like you said, gang. If we can gang rebound, everybody going there and rebound, them guards getting there, get some rebounds. This is gonna be one of them games where you're gonna have to scrap, claw, fight. It's gonna be one of them. You're in the Sweet 16, so I mean, it's nothing they're not used to. They made it this far, so it's it's whatever, you know.
Yeah, they gotta pull a page out of your book. You were notoriously known for stealing rebounds,
Absolutely.
stealing rebounds from Greg and Kenny. I remember Kenny got mad at you once on the road. I think we were playing Northwestern. Was it? Yeah, my freshman year, your senior, we were playing Northwestern on the road. It was one of our first like big time matchups, and Kenny just had to be down there battling, and you just kept coming over the top,
You don't need that. Let
snatching
me get
rebounds.
that big fella.
Exactly. So I think if the Jays could, as far as their guard core is concerned, if they could pull a page out of Darryl's book from way back in the day, then we should be doing pretty well on the rebounding side of the game. The last time these two met were a couple seasons ago in Omaha. The Jays lost to Gonzaga 103-92, an extremely high scoring game. Basically, 200 points were put on the board. If you were to guess how this game, because we've been defending really, really well, obviously these last couple of games, and then if you look back at some of the last handful of games in the Big East, in Big East competition, we're defending really well too. If you were to guess, with two of the best offensive-minded coaches and two of the best offensive teams left in this tournament, if it's going to be either a high-scoring game or a defensive struggle, what would you put your money on?
I'm gonna say a defensive struggle. I don't see him scoring over 100 points, man. It's too late in the tournament. But teams are gonna, even if you're offensive minded. I mean, we both know Coach Mack. He's gonna tell you, hey, we got to get stopped. We got to stop somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah,
Gordy is gonna be back there yelling.
Gordy's still there.
Gordy gonna be back there yelling.
Shout out my man Gordy, man.
Hell yeah. Oh man, D-Ash, what's been the story of the tournament so far for you? What have you been impressed by? Which team have you been disappointed by overall in the tournament? What have you been paying attention to?
I've been impressed by these. There's been a lot of upsets. Like I was impressed by Ohio. I was impressed by what's the other team?
Roberts. Abilene Christian. Yeah.
I don't know if you watched that North Texas game. I was impressed by them. The little kid that kept getting that shooting floated. I'm like, this dude's tough.
The little lefty with the push float. I was watching that game because shout out Coach Lutz. I was hoping that he'd be able to advance. He's the assistant at Purdue too. So I was watching that game. I was waiting to text congratulations on advancing. That didn't happen. So Coach Lutz, I owe you a text. Unfortunately, love you, bro, but it didn't work out for you that time.
And a team I was kind of disappointed. I was disappointed by OSU because I really like the Cunningham kid. I really like him. He's really good. So I was kind of disappointed in him just because I wanted to see them get a little further, and guys like that, you kind of want to see them go off in a tournament.
So you already mentioned Suggs. You feel is a potential lottery guy. You talked about obviously Cade Cunningham, which I think is consensus, unanimous number one overall pick if you ask some of the NBA guys right now. Who else do you think is going to be up there? If you remember the kids' names, or who do you think is going to be up there as far as the lottery is concerned for this upcoming draft class?
To be honest with you, those are the only two I can.
I love it.
No, like the Cunningham kid. I really liked him, man. I see like he has an NBA game. Isn't he like 6'8"?
Apparently.
Yeah, but him and the Suggs, those are the ones that I really like. I said, I haven't really watched a lot of college basketball this year. I know you don't have kids, but I got two of them, man, and they they're a handful. But right. I can't even think. If you probably start saying some people, I probably could think of them, but I've been watching it since the tournament. That's really I've been tuned in. Yeah,
I mean the tournament's been hella entertaining. So it's just every night there's been something to watch, something to talk about, and let's hope that the entertainment value is still high, and let's obviously hope that our Jays are able to advance. So again, Gonzaga versus the Jays. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I'll show you my bracket after. You're gonna start laughing. Like the bracket that I have where the Jays wins it all is actually the bracket where I have the most, victories so far because it's been such a funky year. Like so, I mean that's the one that I'm holding on to for dear life. The one that I had Illinois winning. You can scratch that. You can scratch that.
They just messed everybody.
Right, for real though. But hey, Loyola Chicago represented for the Missouri Valley. I know you and I both played in that. Shout out to D-Rock for getting his first NCAA tournament win in the first four with Drake playing Wichita State of all teams. So yeah, I mean it's been an entertaining tournament so far, especially if you're a Jays fan.
Definitely.
All right, Diaz. Let's get back to the genesis of it all, man. Like I said in the intro, softball. Growing up in the age, growing up in Houston, Texas. Talk to me about like your high school career. You were first team all conference your senior year. Obviously, you were a leader back then. Talk to me about like what it was like going to Cy Falls every day and hooping for that squad.
Oh man, I talk about Cy Falls so much around y'all. Y'all know Cy Falls, but yeah, I went there. I was on varsity 2 years. The 2 years I was there for 3 years. So the 2 years I was there, I played varsity. I was one of the top guys in the city. Led the team in pretty much everything my senior year. I ended up, before my senior year, I actually ended up signing to Texas Tech when Bobby Knight was there.
Bob Knight, yeah.
Yeah. I was actually gonna go play for him. Then after high school, I ended up going to prep school. Went to prep school in New Hampshire. So that was a little bit of a culture shock going all the way up to New Hampshire, being from Texas. Weather change. It was crazy. Did that for a year. I don't know if I ever told y'all this when I was in prep. Man, prep school, the competition level from prep school when I went to JUCO, I was like, this is easy. Because,
right.
Prep school was everybody on my team was Division I talent. Everybody we played was Division I talent. It was crazy. So that actually helped me a lot. I grew up kind of quick going up there by myself and for that 1 year. Then I came back to Texas for junior college. Did that, went to Jacksonville Junior College in East Texas. When I tell you it was absolutely nothing in East Texas, it was nothing. So that really forced me to be in the gym and work on my craft. And, 2 years, Jacksonville. I was actually signed to Texas Tech 3 times. So I signed out of high school. I signed when I was at prep school. Then I signed again my freshman year at junior college. And then after that freshman year, I think Coach Knight, he ended up retiring. He retired. His son, Pat Knight, took over. And then we basically kind of just went our separate ways. And that's what led me to Creighton. I ended up, go ahead.
I'm trying to picture you like the Darryl Ashford that I've always known, this laid back, chill dude, like literally like baby Carmelo in a sense, where you're literally just laid back all the time, to like Coach Knight, who's notorious for losing his mind, throwing chairs across the gym, berating his student athletes. How do you think what was so attractive for you? Like you just mentioned, like you did it out of high school and prep school, you're thinking about it too. Your first year after junior college, you were still like, yeah, this is where I want to go until he retires. What was it about that environment I'm trying to picture you there in that environment. What was it about that made you want to go there?
Man, I actually, when I met him, man, he just had a presence about him. Like I wanted to play for him. And I was like, shoot, this is one of the greatest coaches that ever coached this game. So maybe a little crazy, but if other people, I feel like other people did, I can do it, man. It's just gonna do nothing but, help me be a better player. I feel like I can roll with it. And the crazy thing is my senior year, after I signed Texas, I was watching the game and one of the kids put his head down and he punched him. And I'm watching this. Hey Jay, I'm watching this oh. And I'm watching this this is what I'm getting. This is what I'm about to go through. He literally punched the dude, really punched him. And this is maybe 2006, 2007. Nowadays if something like that happened, it would have been you know, but I'm looking at that like,
Mayhem. Yeah. What? Coach fired immediately on the spot. But yeah.
I mean, they just talked about it for a little bit, and that was it. I mean, it was Bobby Knight. What you gonna what you gonna say? You know, but yeah, I ended up.
No, that's the thing. Like, if you guys know Darryl, like, you know that, like, chillest dude I probably ever met. Like, legitimately. Like, I'm trying to picture you as that kid getting uppercut because you turn the ball over or something like that. You put your head down for a second. I'm trying to picture your facial reaction pop up after that chin check from Coach Knight.
I don't know. That was crazy. I know not to do that when I get there.
Bro, for real though, you talked about like going to junior college in East Texas, where you said there's really nothing there. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the Last Chance U documentary on Netflix. They just did a basketball one. I watched it a couple of weeks ago, and I was just amazed by it. What are some of the differences? Like you said, like that's a situation where you're in like pretty much like in a village with nothing to do, so you really had to concentrate on hoop and stuff like that. What are some of the differences that you saw like in that documentary and in your own junior college experience? And what did you find to be relatable, and what did you find to be like, man, this is outrageous. Nothing like that ever happened.
As far as like, first of all, I love the documentary. I watched it in like 2 days. Man, it was real good.
Yeah, me too, bro. That it was good. It was addicting.
Yeah, which I watched the other ones, but when it's basketball, it hit home a little more.
Yeah.
But being a JUCO kid myself, it was now there as far as their like living situations and stuff like that. It wasn't that bad for us. Like everybody on our team had scholarships, and we basically stayed like on campus. So I think they had a little tougher than us in that situation. But just as far as like how they make it seem like it's just a all out grind for everybody trying to get to Division One. Now that's facts. That's all the way true, man. Because it's a dog fight. Everybody trying to get to that next level. It's just they had some talented guys on that team. What's the big kid name? The one that kept walking up practicing.
Yeah, that he went to Penn State originally from Oak Hill. Yeah, and he ended up at Long Beach State, which was pretty cool to see. Yeah,
if that would have been my coach, he would have been. Hey Jay, he would have been out of there. Like, hey, you talented and all, but you got to go because you messing up what we got going on.
Right.
But it was good to see him actually make it and get back to that Division I level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. Every time I was watching, I'm like, yo, they're gonna let him walk out again? That's like the seventh time I've seen him in 3 episodes walk it out.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way, bro. That was a question I knew I had to ask you because like I'm just trying to think. Obviously, I haven't been in that environment, but I've spoken to you, I've spoken to Justin Carter about it. I talked to Wayne Reynolds even when we were back in school about just that JUCO grind, and it's real. It's absolutely real. Like you guys are all trying to some people are bounce backs, meaning they go to Division I first and then they end up back in junior college trying to make their way back to Division I. Some guys have to come straight out of high school for whatever reason. So like you could tell that like every practice meant something, every meeting meant something. The coach is talking to you, it really means something because you only want to do your time there and you want to see if you can end up back at the Division I level.
Yeah, man, it's definitely a grind. Definitely.
Yeah. When you obviously committed to Creighton, but like what other schools out of JUCO were you interested in, maybe that you took a visit to, but then ultimately decided to come to see you?
When I was at JUCO my freshman year, like I said, I signed again. I pretty much, any coaches that came in the gym, they pretty much knew I was going to Texas Tech. Like couldn't touch me, couldn't talk to me. So after my freshman year, my coach, let me know he was gonna open up my recruitment back up, and I had like, if I can think, I had Marquette come in. I had OU late, and I had actually I was supposed to go on a visit to Wichita State the week after I went to Creighton, and the coach Greg Marshall that was at Wichita State at the time. He actually told me like, hey man, I know you're going to Creighton. Just make sure you don't commit while you're there. It's exactly what I did.
He already knew
Hey,
what it was.
hey, I no lie. I walked into the it was the Quest Center then. I walked in the Quest Center. I was like, yeah, I'm coming here.
Right.
You know how it is when you first walk in there.
But I have the exact same story, man. I asked D-Rock straight up, where the papers at? And I wasn't even talking like that yet. I was from Canada. I was supposed to say, sir, where are the papers? Or I may sign. But I said, yo, man, where the papers at?
Straight up.
Straight up, though, for real. Quest Center, aka CenturyLink. Man, what a spot though, for real. Like 18,000, you really can't beat it. So it sounds like your story is a little bit similar to Austin's, because I think Austin's kind of had the same deal where he had the Creighton visit first and then Wichita State after. And then like they pretty much told him, yo, if you go down there, enjoy yourself and don't commit. And then you both kind of did the same thing. These Texas boys, I tell you what, they walk into Omaha, they just want to sign them papers, don't they?
Yeah, man.
So you're one of the rare guys who actually got a chance to play not only for Coach Altman, a legendary coach on campus too, but Coach Mack, who's working his way up now to become to cement his legendary status as a Creighton head coach. Talk to me about the differences between the two, and like for yourself personally, what worked with Altman that didn't work with Coach Mack, or vice versa. What worked with Coach Mack that didn't work with Altman?
That's a good question. So, Altman was the one that actually recruited me, brought me in. Altman was he was an older guy. He was kind of, I wouldn't say stuck in his ways, but he kind of old school. Basically it's his way. It's been working for him for so long. So who are you to say, I think this would be better, it is what it is. But I mean, great coach, he knows the game. With Coach McDermott, he was more of a player's coach, man. He could actually like see like your tendencies, what you like to do, what everything just wasn't, hey, we're gonna run this like that. I need guys to plug in, plug a guy here, plug a guy. Coach Mack actually, he's gonna listen to what you have to say. He knows what type of game you have. So I actually like playing for both of them, to be honest with you. But like I said, Coach Mack was more of a player's coach, and you can really come to him and talk to him about stuff. And he X's and O's wise offensively, he's an offensive mastermind. You know that.
Bro, it's so crazy that like you just said, like you play for Coach Altman 1 year, you play for Coach Mack the following year, your senior year, but you end up facing Coach Altman in the CBI finals. Like how wild was it as we're going through that CBI run? That was my freshman year, your senior year, that you're looking at the other side of the bracket and you see Oregon keeps advancing too. And like we win, they win, we win, they win. Before you know it, it's a best of 3 series, once in Omaha, twice in Oregon. We end up losing to them. But like how wild was it that like the person who brought you into Division I basketball basically also took you out in the same, literally like a year after recruiting you?
We I'm not gonna lie, we wanted to match up with them. Like we was hoping, man, we play Oregon, especially all the seniors. And I was I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bitter whenever Altman left. It was like man, you brought me here, you came sit on my couch, but I get it. It's the business at the end of the day. I mean, who wouldn't pass up on the Oregon job? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it was crazy, man, actually seeing, him on that other side. And I know it was crazy for him coming back to Omaha, being in the other locker room, sitting on the other bench, basically being in that arena that he built, you know what I'm saying? So I know it was crazy, man. Just you was there for that whole experience, just playing at Oregon. Mind you, we should have won that game. Antoine stepped on that line.
Yeah.
That was BS.
I still think about that. Like that was nonsense. That they didn't even have a half court line drawn yet at that point in that new arena.
Hey, look, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna take it back.
Yeah, go ahead.
You remember remember we played Iowa State, maybe like the second game of the year?
Yep. No, it was like the 4th game, but it was a half court shot that shouldn't have counted. Is that the one you're talking about? Yep.
Yes. Hey, I watched that. I don't know why. I was at work talking to somebody about it, and I watched that game. I watched the last part of it. And I was like, man, what? I was like, if we would have won that game, our your freshman year, our senior year would have been totally different. That's one of those
Right.
games where we win that game, it just turns around the whole season. We start, you start stringing wins together. But yeah, I don't know why I thought about that, but I was like, that's another game that we probably it goes into overtime and
Darryl,
no one.
believe me, every loss that we took, I have it saved in an area in my brain. And every once in a while, like there's just I could be at the grocery store or whatever, like picking out what I'm gonna eat next, and all of a sudden I'll just have like a flashback, like a jolt in my body, and be like, damn, Wichita State did come out home and beat our ass like my sophomore year. Like I'll just have like a thought like that, like out of nowhere. And like it happens all the time. So trust me, like those flashbacks, bro, like it never goes away.
Yeah, man, I'm like, dang. But yeah.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Like, bro, do you know that you gave me like my biggest welcome to Division One like moment? Like I came online because of you as far as like, oh, like this is what it looks like. This is what Division One basketball is all about. So it was incoming freshman year for me. Obviously, it's the summertime. It was going into your senior year. So at that point back in the day, coaches weren't allowed to practice with us yet. They changed that rule a few years later after you had graduated. So it's just us, it's the players. We're allowed to lift with the strength and conditioning coach and do all the conditioning stuff, but then we have to go up to old gym on our own and organize our own pickup basketball, right?
Right.
So that it was the very first day of that. So the freshman class that year was myself, Will Artino, Doug McDermott, and shout out to Cody Ingle. He's the forgotten member of that freshman class. Cody, we love you, bro.
Shout
Our
out
guy
Cody.
forever. Shout out Cody. But so I'm bringing Cody up because Cody was a strong kid naturally, so he was lifting like way more than like me, Doug, and Will. Me, Doug, and Will were on our own rack. Cody had already graduated with the
Yeah.
seniors, like he was already lifting with on that first day. But he lifted so much, and I had that same experience too. That we couldn't lift, like we couldn't shoot the ball. I couldn't bring the ball past my shoulders, let alone actually like attempt any sort of shot. So that was my first like, Jesus, like this is different. During one of the pickup games, you catch the ball like a little bit like mid block area. You turn and face on Caleb Corver. You drive baseline and you just tomahawk dunk it on the next guy. And I was just like, oh,
Young legs.
young legs. I was a freshman, so like I had next. I wasn't even on the court yet. I was just watching like the first game happen, and that's when I realized, yo, this is totally different.
It's
Like, when
level
did
to
I
this,
start?
man.
What do you remember about like just that summer grind? When the coaches weren't allowed to be up there yet, but it just had to be us basically holding each other accountable to get better every day.
Man, it was a grind, man. But I loved it, man. It was, like you said, no coaches there. It's just the fellas. That's where you build your brotherhood. That's where you become a family. I mean, you get in fights, arguments. I mean, that's
Right.
where that work comes from. When I came in my junior year, it was guys like Cavell, P. Allen. You had Chad Mill. Man, we had some
Casey
help.
Harriman. Yeah.
Casey. Hey man, we had some nice pick. Justin Carter. We had some pickup games like almost come to blows, man, because them guys would compete so hard and don't nobody want to lose. Somebody score on me, I'm coming right back. So it's a grind. It iron sharp as iron, man. I love it.
I love that time because it's like obviously like when the coaches are around, you have to play a certain way, right? You kind of have to fit the mold of what the coaches want you to do to some extent. Obviously, like the superstar players get to do whatever they want anyways, but like when the coaches aren't around is when you really start to get to know the guys like individual strengths because like there's no strings attached. Everybody thinks they're Kobe while they're up in the gym at that point in time. So like that's the part that right, exactly. I remember like the first time I defended Josh Jones, I was like, holy, like I'm not ready for this. He was hitting me with everything that he had. And I was just like,
Josh gonna throw
what
the
do I
whole bag
do?
at
Exactly. And meet off rip too, off tip off. I was like, damn, bro, let me ease my way into this. Another moment that like I was like, man, welcome to Division One to me was so I drove past Antoine. I thought I got fouled and I called a foul. And this was the first time my foul call at a pickup game got vetoed. And you stepped
It
in, you're
was
like,
me.
hell no. Yeah, it was you. You're like, no, take it out of bounds. No, it's going the other way. You're like, not in the
Take it
valley.
back.
That ain't a foul in the valley. And I remember thinking that, like, oh, I gotta really like, like it changed my whole mentality because again, like I wasn't used to that environment, and I was a freshman coming in from Canada. Like there's just so many things had to get used to. Obviously, the physical nature of play was one of those things. I got like a little ticky tack foul. I thought I could get away with it. You were like, nah, bro, this is going the other way.
Hey man. But stuff like that. That's what you. I mean, I'm sure you took that on to the other freshmen coming in. Like, hey man, we're not gonna get them calls we on the road at Wichita State. They're not calling that.
Right.
Yeah, they don't need, they don't even hear that.
It's funny that you bring that up because I switched the words around as soon as we moved to the Big East. I hadn't even played a game in the Big East yet, but I was telling our incoming freshman, nah, boy, not in the Big East. I was on a foul during pickup games.
Ain't even played the game yet.
I was just as green as they were, but they didn't know it. I could call it out at that point. I was a senior. I was going to use that privilege.
Absolutely.
Yo, so you already kind of mentioned earlier about you being my host on my visit. So, like, to recap the story, basically, Darryl's my host. We have a great time. Instead of, taking me out to the bars or whatever, we end up just going chilling. At the time, Justin Carter's girlfriend, now wife, we end up going to her house. And like after seeing everything and the hospitality that I got, I literally committed right there on that kitchen table. Another thing that I do remember about my visit though is our first ever 2K battle. Do you remember that?
I was about to say, I know you're gonna bring up 2K, man.
I have to bring up 2K because look, listen, this is all like during my visit, that was like a whole like the building of everything. I walked around campus, I was like, okay, this is really nice. Like I could get used to this. I went to go eat with the coach. I was like, hey, they're pretty cool. I can get used to this. I saw Quest and I was like, oh, I could definitely come here. And then we go out to your dorm room, we play 2K and you beat me. Do you remember what you said to me?
What I say?
I was like, no, hell no, bro. Rematch, run it back. You go, nah, if you want to run it back, you got to commit. Like, this guy's an asshole.
Commit, we can run it back.
Bro, so that was also a big reason why, not a big reason, but like it was one of the reasons why I decided to commit. So fast forward the next year, Darryl Ashford, do you remember the infamous 2K game? I believe it was in my dorm room this time, where you were up one with like 0.4 seconds left, and I read a backdoor law for Monte Ellis that made you throw the controller.
Hey, the crazy thing is, I didn't. I just now remembered that. Like, I did not remember. You really threw a lob to Monte on some like. Hey, I was pissed off. I probably broke my controller and everything.
You threw the controller across the room. And the funniest part was like we were getting ready to go to like a Easter, like we were joining a family for like an Easter event. And you were just so livid at that point that you just chucked the controller across the room.
Hey, I remember that. We used to have some battles, man.
Some battles, man. I don't know how many best of 7 series we did, but man, that was some of the best times that I had that freshman year for sure. All right, so after your senior year, you were a JUCO guy, so some of those credits didn't translate. It forced you to, stay back one more year to make sure that you got that diploma from Creighton University. What kind of went into that decision? Obviously, like you had the choice to just go back and finish your degree anywhere, but you decided to stay on campus and it meant something to you to, get that degree from Creighton University. So like, talk to me about like the decision, understanding that, you're done your playing career, but you still want to do that extra year on campus.
To me, I was thinking like, man, this is honest. I was like, man, I'm trying to go hoop overseas, man. I'm trying to go play. I'm trying to get to this money. I'm still trying to hoop. But really what kept me, like, man, you might as well just stay. You already there. Was my dad, number one. and then sitting down and talking to Coach McDermott. And like I said, they both kind of said the same thing, like, hey man, you already here. You right there. You know, a lot of times guys will say they come back and they don't, you know. So that was my thing. I'm like, man, you right, I'm here. It's another year. And then I messed with y'all so tough. So it was like I'm with my boys. I'm right. At every game. I'm you know, it's the same thing. I'm just not playing, you know. So that was the main thing, man. Just my mom to my mom and my dad and Coach Mack basically telling me like, hey man, you might as well. And now that I sit back and look at it, I'm glad I did it, man. It's one of the best decisions I've made, really.
Right. It's so crazy because like I was already looking up to you my freshman year because you were my senior. But when you say back that extra year, like you legitimately like were able to look at the game from a different perspective and like really help me out. You know, the times that I was struggling, you pulled me to the side, like, hey, listen up, young fella.
Nice to get on you.
Yeah, exactly. You tell me exactly like the stuff that you saw. And it's such a unique perspective. I talk about it all the time. You can hear from the coaches 1,000 times. Like I had guys like you, I had guys like Grant Gibbs who were able to pull me to the side and just kind of show me things from a different lens that obviously like helped me out a lot in my playing career. So bro, always appreciative of you for that, man, because you really helped a young kid out, especially like in the moments of despair. Let's put it down.
Hey man, you know, us seniors, you know, me, Wayne, Caleb, Casey, and Kenny, you know, we was that first group with Coach Matt. And, you know, I tell people this all the time, you know, whenever me and Wayne, who else was in that class? I think Ethan. Yeah. Whenever we came in there, my junior year, Wayne junior year, and Ethan's freshman year, it was that team that we came on, that team was kind of like divided, man. They wasn't really just close like how y'all, like say how y'all were y'all senior year, you and Doug senior year. They wasn't just close like that. And I feel like, you know, us being seniors, even though you can look back and see like me, you know, me went like we didn't, I'm not gonna say we can contribute, but we definitely contribute. But we didn't play just heavy minutes like that, just, you know, but man, we was together as a team. Like, you know, it was times in practice where we would all be pissed off at the coaches, like, man, we you know, we right. Us, you know what I'm saying? The brother, we together, man. You know, and y'all carried that on to sophomore, junior, senior year, you know what I'm saying? And when I look at this Creighton team now, I feel like this team kind of has that same makeup to where they actually like each other. You know what I'm saying? Right. And everything they going through with all that stuff with Coach Mack and all this, the Black Lives Matter, like they've been COVID, all this stuff, they've really been going through a lot. And that's why I feel like they're gonna make it. That's
exactly. Why. No, for real though. I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying, because like that connection off the court, like it only helps on the court, because you realize like for you and I, when you used to get on me, I understood it's not personal. Like this is my brother. He's telling me exactly what he thinks I need to do to help the team win. And I think this current team has a lot of that too. I'm glad that you mentioned all the stuff that happened with like obviously the past summer that we just had with COVID hitting, with the stuff that Coach Mack said, having to go through all of that, losing in a Big East championship the way that they did, the Big East tournament championship the way that they did, and bouncing back and beating two tough teams to make it to the Sweet 16 for the first time in current history. All of that really stems from that cohesiveness that they have off the floor. I also wanted to say like it's so crazy to me that you mentioned like Kenny and Casey and Caleb and Wayne and yourself. Like you guys don't know how much you meant to like me and Doug, especially that year, because like you almost said that you didn't contribute. You obviously contributed. Like you meant a lot to, you know, the team on and off the court. But like to take that role, like accept the fact that, look, I know it's my last year. I know I want to go out with a bang, but the coaching staff sees it in this lens that we have to take it in this direction. Therefore, I need to accept this role. I know it wasn't easy for you to come off the bench. Talk to me about like that conversation that you had with Coach Mack, and then like you having to man up and be like, all right, like if this is the way that you see things are going, not only am I going to accept that, but I'm also going to just keep pushing these guys to be the best version of themselves that they can be.
Yeah. with that, it's crazy because me and Coach Mack, we actually sat down and had a conversation. Like whenever, I was starting and, we actually sat down and had that conversation about, hey, I think, I think he started, that matter of fact, that was when Greg became eligible to play. So he started G, he started Kenny and Doug. And he was like, he basically called me in like, hey man, we're gonna bring you off the bench, this and that. And man, I'm all about the team. I'm trying to win because I'm looking at the bigger picture. Like, hey, we win, everybody eat. So
right.
I told him I was cool with it, this and that. And like I said, I'm looking at it like, hey, I know Coach Matt, he didn't bring none of us seniors in. So basically, you inherited us. You got to work with what you got. It ain't like he just kicked us to the curb, like y'all ain't playing no more,
Right.
Excuse me, but like I said, man, I felt like it's something he had to do, kind of to groom his younger guys, to groom you, groom Doug, Ethan, like basically to groom y'all guys into what he needs y'all to be going forward. And shit, it was a good move. Y'all made the tournament the next 3 years?
Yeah, the next 3 years, baby, straight.
I mean, it's no hard feelings. I feel like it is what it is, man. When you part of the team, you gotta. That's the role that we was given. I was given. That was the role I was given. So I stepped in and took it.
So there's two things that like you being kind of like my mentor, my senior, that you really got me into. First is hat game. Your hat game was always crazy. That game was always crazy. If you ever saw Darryl on campus, and it wasn't a day that he wasn't rocking a fitted, curving it just slightly, just a little slight curve on it. You know what I'm saying? And then just the shoe game in general, like you just really like watching you and seeing like how much you took care of your shoes, like how like you nitpick which shoes you're gonna play with and for what reasons and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, you already know what it is.
Yeah.
You already know what it is. That's exactly how I am now. When did that like become a thing for you where like you are a high key sneakerhead and obviously like enough into fashion and style that you're just like, you know what? The hat is going to be my signature thing and that's what I'm just going to be rocking from here on out.
Hey, to be honest, you know who I got the hat? I didn't wear hats like that. I wear them every now and then, but I didn't wear hats like that until I got to Creighton. And Cavell got me on wearing hats like that. Fun fact, Cavell Witter, the one that put me on the hat game like that. So, shout out to him for that. And then after that, I took it overboard, man. And I had so many hats, it was crazy.
Yeah. How crazy was it when you had to move back home with all those hats? What was Mama saying?
And my mom was like, "The hell? Why you got all these hats and shoes and what the hell going on?" But man, as far as the shoes, that's been a thing from a young age. Your shoes gotta be the toughest thing on your outfit. The shoes gotta be, you know what I'm saying? And they gotta be the J's, J's on my toes.
Hey, boogies in my nose. You already know what it is. I know, like, for our teammates who are going to be listening to this, as soon as you just said J's on my toes, if boogies in my nose and it comes to mind next, like, they're tripping. They're missing out. You already know what it is, but they're all because of freestyle king, man. Oh, man, Darryl, you're killing me. J's on my toes. You already know what it is. Oh, all right. So, Darryl, while we have you on here, definitely have to ask you, what was your favorite arena to play in on the road?
On the road. Definitely Wichita State.
Oh, okay.
Definitely just because, man, you gotta really be focused and locked in to go there and get. I don't even know if I got to win there. You gotta really be focused to go in there and get a win. You can it's like scratch your coaches out, scratch everybody on the bench. It's you and them 4 other people in between them lines. And you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta really lock in and focus, man, because it's loud. If anybody's never played there, especially against us.
Especially against us, yeah.
It's loud, man. You already know. So yeah, that was that was yeah, I'll say there.
That's crazy because I know you and I had plenty of conversations, and I thought your answer was going to be New Mexico because you always used to talk to me about that environment and how jumping it was and how you felt like the bleachers were going to come crashing down on the court because people were jumping on them and stuff like that.
The reason I said Wichita State because I played there multiple times. So New Mexico I only played there once. Now, if you would have said the loudest, that was probably the loudest place that I played. It was stupid. Like I said, like I told you, it was like the floor was like shaking, man. And you look at your coach and you just see his mouth moving, but nothing's coming out. I mean, I remember we was in a huddle, and Coach Altman was like right in front of me, and he's yelling. I couldn't hear nothing he was saying, man. I'm like, I'm looking like I can't hear you. But yeah,
it's crazy because like San Diego State for me was that same thing. If you said like the loudest place, it was San Diego State. 2 Mountain West teams, so that conference is doing some right with the way that they're building those arenas because like that was that following year, my sophomore year, where we played there. And you're absolutely right. Coach Mack was like as close as this mic is to my face, and I couldn't even hear a single word that he was saying. Your least favorite arena to play in, Darryl?
Drake. Yeah, Drake.
Yeah,
Drake. And the crazy thing, I only played there one time. I only played there one time because I missed both of the Drake games because of family funeral. Crazy shit. But Drake, the one time I played there, it's like do they play like in their what am I trying to say? Like they don't have like an actual
their gym. Yeah, it's like an auxiliary gym where they bring in the bleachers and all that stuff. Yeah.
And it's just kind of weird. I don't know. It's like you can't get up for I don't know. It's like, it's weird, man. I didn't like it at all.
I thought you were going to say Evansville. Because I remember you were complaining not only about the arena, which exactly, but also their floor. Like they couldn't get like we were slipping and sliding all over their court and all that stuff. And I think we played there one more time before they moved into the new arena that they play in now. But yeah. Evansville for me was Evansville for me was like, I couldn't talk about not being able to get up for a game like that. That was it right there. But that's kind of surprising because we've had those conversations before. I thought you got to stick to your guns, but it looks like with a little, age, wisdom has set in for you, huh? Yeah.
But it's a lot of I didn't like playing at Indiana State. It's a lot of gyms I really didn't like playing at. Mm-hmm. It was little trap games.
Oh, bro, Darryl, man. I could be talking to you all night, but we have to wrap it up at some point. I think, the people who are listening to this 16th guest on the Welcome to the J podcast, I think they're growing tired of hearing you and I just laugh every other second. So we're definitely going to wrap it up. But I appreciate you, bro, taking time out to talk to me today, to step into the J with me one more time. You already know what it is. The Ash is a Welcome to the J legend already. To all of you listening, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow to the Field of 68 Media Network. And also don't forget to download the Locker Room app where we do pre and post game shows. I'm Jahenns Manigat, aka Canadian Red Bull. This was Darryl Ashford, aka H-Town's finest, representing. Man, D, I love you, bro. We have to catch up at some point, man. This has been too much fun.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem, bro. Welcome back to the J. You're welcome here anytime. Everybody out there, stay safe. And as always, go J. Sweet 16, baby.
Yeah, we going.